Hey, I'm John, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create a keychain in Tinkercad for you to 3D print. All right, the first thing you want to do is go to tinkercad.com, and it's free to create an account. Tinkercad's made by Autodesk, which is the same company that makes Fusion 360. It's just a very simplified version of Fusion 360. It's kind of actually meant for like beginners or students. I found it was an easy way to kind of get into 3D modeling. Fusion 360 can feel a little intimidating sometimes, and so this is a good starting point where you can just kind of get comfortable with how CAD software works and just get your feet wet a little bit. So you'll want to sign up if you don't have an account, or if you do, you'll log in. Now, once you're logged in, it's going to take you here to your dashboard, and you want to go to Create and 3D Design. That's going to open up your work plane. Now, this is not going to be a tutorial on Tinkercad. If you want to watch some tutorials on how to use Tinkercad, there's plenty of those right here on YouTube that you can check out. Once you log into Tinkercad, you're going to notice that it starts you out in the basic shape section. And this is where the base of a lot of your keychains could come from. You could do a square one, you could do one that's a cylinder shape. I like my keychains to be circular. I think it feels more comfortable in the pocket. I think it looks a little better. So I'm going to go with a cylinder in this example, but you could do it with any of the shapes here. This tutorial will cover any shape. You would just use a different shape than I'm going to use. So if you click on the cylinder and place it on your work plane, you're going to see that it's a cylinder shape, but it's not actually a circle. It's a circle with a bunch of straight edges. And that's all fine, but I don't really like that. I want an actual circle. So we're going to get rid of that. And I'm going to go over here and click on basic shapes, and I'm going to go to my creations. I created a smooth circle that I use instead of a cylinder to create my keychains. And I will provide a link in the description of this video for you to download this smooth circle shape so that you can use it when you create your keychain if you'd like to. Okay, so the first step is going to be we need to make the keychain the size that we want. I've found over time that I think the perfect diameter for a keychain is about 2 inches. Now Tinkercad uses millimeters, not inches, but if you go to Google and you type in millimeters to inches, it's going to give you a little calculator that you can use. So I've already done that, and 2 inches is about 50.8 millimeters. So I'm going to click this corner right here, and you see these two little boxes come up. I'm going to change this to 50.8 on both of them, and it's going to now change the diameter of my circle to 50.8 millimeters, which is 2 inches. The next thing you'll notice is that this is pretty thick. That's like a hockey puck thickness. If we were to print that, it would not be super comfortable in our pocket. So we're going to change the height of it. Now I like for my total height to be about anywhere between 3.5 and 4 millimeters in height. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click this little square right here. That gives me the height. So right now this circle is 20 millimeters in height. I want it to be between 3.5 and 4. So what I'm going to actually do is make this 2. And the reason why is because this is the base layer of the keychain. We're going to put another layer on top of it that's going to have our shape. So it's going to kind of have a 3D ridge to it. Now there's another way that you could do this. Maybe I'll cover that in another video, but that would be where you embed the shape inside of the keychain. I like to make mine where they're 3D. So the shape that we're going to put in here is going to go over on top of this and become part of the keychain. So once you've got your circle set and you got the right size, then you're going to import whatever the image is that you want to put on top of the keychain. I'll include a link in the description to the image that I'm using for this example, But you can also just go to Google and type in whatever you want, and then after that put SVG, and you'll want to find a file format SVG of whatever you're looking for. So I'm going to click import, and then I'm going to go grab the file. Now for this one, I searched Rebel Alliance logo SVG, and this came up on the internet, and I downloaded it. Now, if you're going to sell these, you have to be careful because a lot of this stuff is copyright protected. I'm not going to sell these. I'm just making it for me, so I'm not worried about copyright protection. I'm not a copyright lawyer or anything, but keep that in mind before you try to start selling something like this commercially. Now I already know what my dimensions are, right? I want a 2-inch diameter, so that's 50.8 millimeters. And on here, when you import, you can import in the full size and it'll tell you right here what the length and width of the full size is, or you can change it before it imports it. So since I already know what size I want it to be, I'm going to change the length, and the width should automatically update based on what I changed the length to. So I changed it to 50.8 and it changed the width to 50.8 as well. So once you've done that, you just hit the import button. And now it's loaded that shape on here. Again, the width of this is 10 millimeters, so way too big. I want mine to be in between 3.5 and 4 after it's all said and done. So I'm going to change this to 2, which would make a total of 4. Now you'll notice if I drag it over here, it kind of disappears because it is 2 inches thick and the base is 2 inches thick too. Now we could just make this 4 inches thick and move it over here, but instead of doing that, I'm going to click this little cone shape here and I'm going to move it up 2 millimeters. So now if we zoom in, it's off the surface, off the work plane by 2 millimeters. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to drag it over here, and oh, that kind of looks good, but I'm not sure. So instead of trying to guess and not actually have it centered, there's an easy way to center it. So we're going to click off of it. We're going to select both of our shapes. We can do that by dragging and selecting both, or we can do it by clicking one, hitting the control key on our keyboard and clicking the second one. Once we've got both of those selected, we're going to see this option right here, which says align. So we're going to click that, and then these lines come up. So the center ones are going to align it horizontally and vertically aligned to both of the shapes. So we're going to click that and click that, and now we've got it perfectly centered, and we don't have to worry about it not being the shape we want. So I think it looks pretty good, but I kind of want to see what it would look like if it were the actual colors that I think I'm going to print it in. So when you click on a shape, you'll notice that this comes up. So we can tell it what color we want it to be by clicking this here. So I want it to be black, so I'm going to change that to black. I like that a lot better. Now this I want to change to red, so I'm going to click that solid again, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to kind of find a shade of red. That's pretty close to what I've got. So now we have the full keychain ready to go, except there's one problem. If I were going to print this as an actual keychain, I have no way to connect it to a keyring. So to do that, we're going to go over to our Your Creation section. We're going to grab a smooth circle again. We're going to place it here, and we're going to need to resize this because that's way too big in diameter. That would ruin the entire keychain. So you can mess around with this size if you want a little bit, but I've found that 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters is a big enough hole that it will allow us to put a keychain through it, but not such a big hole that it takes up too much space. So now we've got that done. We're going to kind of put it where we think we want the keychain hole to be. Now you could put it here or here. I'm going to put it right in the center. And once again, I'm not sure if that's actually the exact center. So an easy way to do that would be to select the Rebel logo and then to select the cylinder by holding the Shift key. And now we want to only move this based on this. We don't want to move them together or else it will get out of sync with the base. So if I click the Rebel logo again, it's going to reference this shape to where that's at, and this will not move. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to hit this to center it. Now see how just the cylinder moved when I did that? The base shape did not move. Okay, so now that's where our hole's going to be, but our hole isn't actually there. So to fix that, we're going to click the cylinder again. We're going to click the hole button, and then now this shape is kind of grayed out, grayscale, as you can see. Now that doesn't create the hole, but it helps us kind of visualize where the hole's actually going to be. Now there's one problem here with this. So if I go to the underside, you'll notice you can kind of see it, but it doesn't actually look like the hole's there. So to fix that, we're going to go back up here. We're going to click on the cylinder. We're going to click our little cone tool again, and we're just going to drag that down a couple millimeters. Now you see this little box here says -3. That means we've gone down 3 millimeters. And now if we go under here, you'll see that it has now gone through the work plane. So that means it will now create a hole once we do the final step. So the final step is going to be to select all of the shapes, and you're going to click this button, or you can hit Control-G on your keyboard, and it will group them together and actually put the hole through the keychain. See how there's a hole there now? All right, and that's it. You've now created a keychain that is pretty much 3D print ready. So the final step would be to hit the export button, and then you're going to want to export it as an STL if you're going to plan on 3D printing it. So you just press that, wait for it to export, and then it will download to your computer. As I mentioned, I'll have a link in the description to the smooth circle so you can download it to use in Tinkercad. I'll also have a link to the Rebel Alliance logo that I used in case you want to make one like it for yourself. I'll also have a link to Tinkercad down below and a few other links of stuff that I really enjoy using when 3D printing. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, you can show your support by liking this video, leaving a comment about something you'd like to see next, and of course subscribing and turning the bell on for notifications. All right, happy printing.